Hello, people who are not me, and welcome back to Mega Man 8. I am Sire Goku. In the last video, we started this Let's Play, and landed on this mysterious skull-shaped island, where Dr. Wily found something interesting, and flew off with it. We also found a damaged robot that we sent to Dr. Light to have him repair it. Speaking of Dr. Light, well, we have ourselves our boss selection screen. Much like Mega Man 7, we start with only 4 Robot Masters instead of the classic 8. We've got Tengu Man, Frost Man, Clown Man, and Grenade Man. But before I go anywhere, you can always go back to Dr. Light's lab, as well as go back to the intro stage if you missed those 2 bolts. But let's go to Light's lab. There's a little bit of loading because I'm on the PlayStation. If you're playing this on the Anniversary Collection, that little loading screen's not there. But that's okay, I don't think it's a big deal. Anyway, coming to the lab, we have Roll here, who has prepared power-ups for us. Much like the shop in Mega Man 7, Roll runs the shop in Mega Man 8, where you give bolts to get new items. But unlike Mega Man 7, there's only 40 bolts you can get in the entire game, so you can't buy every weapon or item in the shop. But that's, as I mentioned before, it's not a big deal. You don't necessarily need every weapon in the shop. But for now we only have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We only have 9 things. Yeah, I can't count in my head for some reason. But we only have 9 things we can buy right now. We have the Power Shield, which prevents knockback, which is pretty sweet. You can start the game. You can start every stage with 4 lives instead of 3 if you are worried about dying too much. You can shoot up to 5 Mega Busters shots at once instead of 3 if you want to be faster. The Energy Balancer, which you're definitely going to want to get because as it was in Mega Man 6 and 7, it refills the weapon with the lowest energy automatically. You don't have to switch to a weapon anymore. You just have to pick up a weapon capsule and it automatically fills the weapon that's the lowest energy. For this game, though, whenever you start the second phase of a stage, all of your weapon and life energy gets refilled, so it kind of destroys the purpose of the Energy Balancer, in my opinion, but it's still nice to have. And we have the exit, if you want to go back to previous stages to collect bolts and just come right back. It does cost 4 bolts, but, oh well, I already have 3, so it's not like I'm not going to get it anytime soon. We got the Laser Shot, which is my personal favorite weapon in the charge-up shot. This is what I mentioned before. You can get power-ups to your charge shot. The Laser Shot will turn your Charge Buster into a laser, which pierces through enemy shields. And it's my personal favorite weapon in the game. Or power-up, anyway. Then you got an Arrow Shot, which... what happens with that is when you charge your shot... it says it's changed to a powerful arrow shot. That's not necessarily true. What it actually does is when it hits something, it then splits into 8 other shots, so it hits multiple targets in a row. It hits whatever's in front of you, and then a whole array of things around it. So it's pretty nice. And then you have your auto shot, where as soon as you hold down the charge button, you just keep firing. That's also a very nice weapon item to have if you don't feel like using the charge shot. And then you can climb ladders faster. I never get this because it's pointless. Unfortunately, I don't have enough bolts for anything else in the shop. This is also where you would save your game, too. So if you don't want to go through a stage or get a game over to save, just go to Dr. Light's lab and save there. But since I wasted a few extra minutes just talking about the shop, let's actually get something done here. And I'm going to do what I always do. I go in weakness order. And I always start with the top left. This is Tengu Man.
I'm Tengu Man.
Even the very first time I played this game, I always started with Tengu Man. In fact, the very first time I ever rented and played this game, a long time ago, I actually managed to find the weakness order on my first try. Now, again, when you're only given 4 Robot Masters, it's pretty easy to guess what the weakness order is going to be right away. Anyway, the gimmick for this stage is there's wind constantly blowing, so every time you jump or even stand still, you're going to be pushed forward. And here you can tell this is definitely on the PlayStation because the Super Nintendo would not be able to handle this many sprites on screen at once. This would be a spot where the rapid fire would probably be helpful if you just want to hold down the shoot button and then just keep firing rapidly, but I don't necessarily need it. Now, if you jump really fast when that second platform's all the way up, you can get this bolt. You can get it if you miss, it's just harder to get back because if you're jumping back to the left, the wind is going to keep pushing you to the right. So just try and do what I did and just jump for it as soon as you get to that platform. Now this section is kind of simple. It's pretty simple. It can be tricky. You're in this bubble that you move left and right. Don't shoot, otherwise you're going to pop it and you're going to fall. The bubble will also pop if you hit these spikes. There is a way you can use the Mega Ball to bounce your way up. In fact, I can show that right now. It's a little hard to do when it's a little hard to show off in this stage with all the wind and all that, but it is possible to use the Mega Ball the same way you would use Rush Coil. It's hard to show off in this stage because of the constant wind, so I'm going to save that for later. We got our shield attackers. Use the wind to help push yourself over these gaps. And then we also got these whales dropping more mets on us. And we also have the same bird enemies as before as well from Mega Man 7. This game uses a lot of updated sprites from Mega Man 7. Like I mentioned before, those birds were the same birds that were in Cloudman stage in Mega Man 7. And this is one of the new features of Mega Man 8. Even though it's only in a couple of stages, you'll get to this point where Rush Jet shows up, and you're in this Gradius section here. You'll also get power-ups that you can find, which are... You can get a spread shot for Rush where he shoots 3 bullets, 1 forward, 1 diagonally up, and 1 diagonally down. You have Eddie here, who, as you can see, he floats in front of you, dropping bombs. And they're constantly going to be attacking as long as you're holding down the fire button, or even just shooting the fire button. And here's Rush's power. He just, like I said before, he shoots a triple spread shot. And I think that's all I'm going to get for this section, because after a while it's going to get to the point where we just are done with this segment. But there are 2 other characters we can get with this in this section. Yeah, and again, because I'm playing the actual PlayStation version, there's a bit of a loading screen. It only lasts about 4 or 5 seconds, so sorry about that. Extra life, of course. It's hard to get extra lives in this section when they just kind of drop. Unfortunately, you do not keep your partner power-ups. Oh, here's the third one. You got Otto. Yes, Otto actually does more than just run the shop this time. He actually comes in and helps you with this giant rocket launcher. And he's amazing. He's probably the best power-up partner you can get in these sections. Unfortunately, he only shoots in one direction, but his missile is really powerful. And the other one we can get, which I didn't get a chance to show off, is Beat. And personally, as much as I like Beat as a character, he's kind of pointless as a power-up in this, because what he does is he flies forward in a straight line after you use a charge shot, and that's the reason why I don't really like it, because he's kind of useless, sadly. Because of the fact that he flies forward after I already fired my blaster, everything I shot at is already dead, so his attack is pretty much wasted. And speaking of wasted, we got ourselves our mini-boss here, this cannon. Sorry I didn't talk much about it. Really quickly, move forward so you can grab this bolt here. Otherwise, you're going to miss your chance and you'll have to play through the entire section again to get it. I'm sorry, I didn't say anything about that boss, or that mini-boss right there. But really, he's not that hard. He's got... When you see him charge up, he has 2 different attacks he can do. He has the giant laser gun that you saw, and if you're not directly in front of him, he can also shoot 3 energy balls at you that move really slowly. So they're pretty easy to dodge. And we got ourselves another bubble section. Another interesting thing to note is that this game was not originally only on the PlayStation. In fact, it didn't start out on the PlayStation at all. Mega Man 8 was originally released on the Sega Saturn. And it had a lot of extra features that the PlayStation version, and unfortunately the Anniversary Collection as well, do not have, because the Anniversary Collection is a straight-up port of this version. Although the sound quality is a little bit worse on the Anniversary Collection version. That's why I'm playing this one instead of the one on the Anniversary disc. But what I was trying to say, crud. This is what happens when I get distracted. The stage theme for Tengu Man was completely different in the Sega Saturn version. I don't know why, but for some reason they decided to change the stage theme to this in the PlayStation version, which is okay. I don't think it's necessarily a bad song. It's just interesting to note that there's 2 different stage themes for Tengu Man. Anyway, as you saw down there, there's another bolt. The way you get it is when that second platform is at its lowest, you jump, and then you can use the wind to carry yourself over. And then you gotta use the wind to carry yourself over that gap, too. It's a little bit tricky sometimes. I should note that if you are playing this on the GameCube Anniversary Collection, they did fix it to the point where B is shoot and A is jump again. So there's that. And there's the end of the stage. Usually there's an item ball at in front of every boss door. The item ball is usually going to be a weapon recharge. Sometimes you'll get lucky and it's an extra life. But anyway, here's Tengu Man. He's going to float around, and then he's going to... He has 2 different attacks. He has that attack, which is going to constantly damage you and push you towards the side. Then he's going to dive at you. And he has one other attack. We'll see if he shows it off. If he says, here you go, he's going to dive down at you, and then... So just jump over him, turn, and fire. There's his main attack. That's Tornado Hold. Just stay away from it. If you get close to it and he hits you, then he's going to... Then it's going to hurt a lot, because not only is it... It doesn't hurt as much as his other attack. In fact, actually, I think it hurts a little more. It's going to knock you into the air, then he's going to kick... Like, here, watch. He's going to knock you into the air, kick you down, boom. There you go. Normally I don't get hit by that, but I want to show everything off. It does a little more damage than his secondary attack, but there you go. Just keep jumping and shooting at him. And there you go. He'll go down no problem. He's a fairly simple boss. Normally I don't get hit that often, but I was trying to explain his attack pattern and all that. That's going to be my excuse. But there you go, now we have Tornado Hold, and I do like the way that Mega Man, I do like how this game has the bosses actually say their weapon names while they're using them. But there we go. That's Tengu Man, and I think I might call it a part. Yeah, I'll do one Robot Master per video, why not? Sure, it's gonna be a little bit... short. Sure, they're going to be short parts, but this is a short game, so thank you guys for watching. That was Tenga Man. I will see you guys in the next video. See you guys then.